That's a good one. That's a good one. Oh, God, it's a toad, son. It's a toad, dude.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day.
They're like, why is it just a blank screen? Because I didn't click add us to stage because my phone was loud and we got confused. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the OneCast Fishing Friday Live, coming to you live from the talk. It's just Trey and I tonight. Ben might jump on remote. He's got some family in town, so he's doing that thing. Spending time with family, as we all know, is super important. So that's where Ben is tonight. So you just got Trey and I. As always, we're going to start the show by shouting out all of our partners. OneCast Fishing, head to onecastfishing.com, use the code the OneCast, all one word, and save 10% off your order. Get some snagless jigs, long neck hooks, soft plastics, weedless neds, all of that good stuff. Also Carolina Waters, head to carolinawatersnc.com, use the code the OneCast at checkout to save 20% off your order. Get you some hats, some shirts, performance gear. They got some new stuff ordered here recently that'll be popping up soon. So keep your eyes open for that. Also, Hobie Eyewear. We finally have our link for them, so I'm going to post it in the chat. It should come up for everybody. If you follow that link, it'll take you straight to Hobie Eyewear. It'll automatically throw 15% off your order. So the glasses are usually $99. I think it's taking down to $80 or something like that. So tough to beat a really good pair of polarized glasses for that price point. And it helps support the show if you do use that affiliate link. So like I said, I'm going to post that in the chat. Make sure if you're in the market for new polarized, you check out Hobie Eyewear. Super excited to have them on board. And as always,
yeah, if you guys are also in the market for a piece of property, piece of real estate, looking for that little piece of paradise, hit up our buddy Eric Schwinn at Mossy Oak Properties. You can shoot him a text or shoot him a call at 936-494-9686. Or email him at eschwind@mossyoakproperties.com. That's ESCHWIND at mossyoakproperties.com. He'll help you guys get that little piece of paradise you're looking for out in the countryside. And it's a great way to help preserve our land because Lord knows they're knocking all the woods down to make residential developments. So hit our buddy up, Eric, and he'll take care of you guys.
Yep,
and with that,
I posted the link as well for my page because it didn't come up on my personal one. So let's see what we got. We got a bunch of folks checking in. Let me go up to the top. We got Zach Scott. What's going on, Zach? Hey, boys. What's going on? David Fuchs in the house.
David Fuchs going to be down here next month.
We got Nick Kincaid. What's going on, Nick? Hopefully it looks like you got is this the real Nick Kincaid or is this the ice?
Well, the real Nick, please stand up.
We got Andrew. What's up, Andrew? Chris Skimmyhorn. What's going on, brother? Hope everybody's having a great night. Cody, what's going on, man? Glad to have you all here. We're going to talk spring fishing a little bit. Trey and I are going to talk about what we like to do this time of year. We're kind of right now in that pre-spawn funk. Look, everybody's been out. Everybody that has a boat's been out. They see water temps. Everybody's freaking out. They're not moving up yet, boys. It's getting close. I know some people are claiming they're seeing mid to upper 60 water. We haven't seen that yet. We've been on the local lakes. It's getting to that 62. Towards the end of the day as the sun beats it all day, but we're still looking at upper 50s, mid 50s during the day, first thing in the morning. So for bass, largemouth, it needs to hit that 60-degree mark and it needs to stay 60 degrees 24/7. They're not going to move up. They're not going to get on beds when it's dropping below that temperature because it'll kill their eggs. So they're not going to risk that. We're 2 weeks of temperature is good. We've got 2 weeks right now showing in the mid 30s for overnight lows. So it's going to push it some more. I'm still saying we're about a month out from the real big push on the spawn. I know everybody's super excited. Weather doesn't line up for it to happen. We've got a ton of rain coming, which is going to raise water levels. That's going to push it back more. A lot of stuff going on that's going to slow things down. Everybody gets super excited. I understand. I am too. I see 60. I want to go straight to the bank, and they're just not quite there yet. Still catching a lot of fish on main lake points, secondary points. They're still staging. We've spent a bunch of time, scanning our local bodies of water, and they'll slide up to feed. We've talked about that. They are moving up shallower to feed. A lot of the bait fish are pushing up shallower, midday because we are getting those little bit warmer temps. So that phytoplankton and stuff that they feed on, are starting to concentrate in that shallower, which the bait fish move up to feed. Big fish move up to feed on them. So you will catch them shallow. but they're not really super staging for the spawn yet. You're still hit those primary and secondary points, quarter of the way, third of the way. I think last weekend we found some about halfway back into a main and the main branch of a creek arm. I'm talking a main point. So this would have been like a tertiary point that we found them on, and they weren't super thick on there, but we caught a few. We saw a few rounds, so we're getting there, North Carolina folks. We're getting there. Jersey, I saw you still got a ways to go.
Yeah,
I think Dave said we got 49 degree.
Yeah, just go ahead and come on down here,
yeah,
Dave.
you still got a little ways to go, and then Andrew, Florida is always ahead. Yeah, you guys are way ahead of us.
Yeah, you guys
Air
are like
temps in the 80s, water temp is right. You guys are definitely whacking spawning fish. South Carolina too.
Yeah, Santee Cooper right now.
Watched any of the open? That's southern South Carolina. That's pretty far, but they're whacking them on beds right now. So we're getting there. 3 weeks, I'm saying, 3 to 4 weeks, and we'll be right there. But
there's a couple variables to talk about. Like, we're in the Piedmont region, as everybody knows. Here's a variable. If you're on a warm water lake, such as Sutton or I think Hyco, there's warm water discharge at Norman. Things like that. That's different, right? Blues Creek, I think, has a warm water discharge, if I'm not mistaken. So, if you have a warm water discharge lake, then that's different, right? That'll change behavior. The other thing too is, a lot of people will scroll through like Bass Hole Nation and all the different websites and stuff, and they'll see people jacking 21, 25 pounds. That can happen for sure. It's happened to some of you guys here in the comments, but there's a couple things that happen. One, you were definitely in the right place at the right time. If the crappie are moving, or crappie, whatever, if they're moving back to Sockeye, if they're moving back to spawn and you just happen to be on those largemouth that are feeding on them, well, you're definitely going to have a good bag. So, but I can tell you that I went out today and got my teeth kicked in. I caught fish, but not what I thought I was going to catch. But I just happened to be in the right place at the right time with certain fish that I caught. And that was it. Like, there was no more. There was no pattern. There was no consistency. There was none of that stuff. So
Jerry Ice over on YouTube. What's up, brother?
So hopefully you guys,
Dan Vaughn, what's good, bud?
You get excited, but at the same time,
Corbishley,
stay a little patient.
What's up, bro?
Corbishley's on?
How's that down there? 61 foot low. Corbishley's down fishing the NPFL championship. If you aren't following it, make sure you check it out. Showdown Saturday tomorrow. Somebody's going to hoist the first NPFL championship trophy. We're hoping it's Mike. He's gonna have to catch a mega sack, but we got a lot of friends fishing it. So either way, it's a cool event. Brandon Perkins is in the lead. He's got 2 good bags the last 2 days. So yeah, we've been enjoying watching that. And then Showdown Saturday with the rain we got coming. Jerry said Jordan was a mud hole last Sunday and lots of trash in the water. Yep. And it ain't gonna get any better come tomorrow with the near inch of rain they're calling for. So fishing will humble you, but it's nice when you figure it out. Absolutely. Fishing fish. That's what's great about it, man. You never know.
Yeah.
Tim said, you guys have favorite pre-spawn crankbait colors and profile, thin, fat, plastic wood. Absolutely. Trey, I'm going to let you lead.
Yeah. So the bait that I've been catching most of my fish on recently, which I've really kind of fallen in love with, this is the chick magnet. The chick magnet is a great flat-sided, shallow water running crankbait that just seems to never get hung up, and if you know what I'm talking about, like, I love fritz side crankbaits and they definitely serve their purpose. And they actually catch me some of my biggest bass this time of year. But they are prone to getting snagged up on a lot of stuff. So if I'm fishing that 2 to 5 foot water depth range, I'm going to go with, a darker orange red color, usually red, just because the way that the crawfish look right now, or crawdads. And then fritz side, if I'm going a little bit deeper, those are probably my 2 flat-sided crankbaits. And then as far as if I had OG wiggleworts, I would be throwing them, but I don't have any of them because you can't find any of them. So if anybody's on the show that has some that wants to pimp them out, let us know. But then a DT series is a great crankbait too, especially if, you're throwing it in more like open water, trying to cover a lot of water and stuff like that. Like DT series is great.
Yeah. Yeah. So for me, I'm pretty much only going to throw a frit side or a square bill. I'm going to throw, although I do have a new one and I lost the only one I had.
Yeah.
And it was heartbreaking because it was like I caught about a 3-pounder on like my fourth cast with it. And then later in the day, lost it. But I will order some more when I can find them. That's the 6 Sense Pressure Series. 6 Sense Pressure Series.
Silent.
No, I didn't get the silent one, so
Oh, you
mine
didn't?
had the single knocker, but I really like the way they ran. They force you to fish them at the right speed because if you start fishing them too fast, they would roll on their side, which I like because sometimes I'll get to cranking and I'll speed crank, and this time of year you don't want to be speed cranking. So it really kept you down in on that good steady retrieve, got you down to where you wanted to be. But frit side is always going to be, I'm always going to have frit side on like Trey or red, some type of red craw, and then I'll have a natural shad too. Just depends on if I'm not getting bit on craw, I'll throw the shad. If I'm not getting bit on shad, I'll throw the craw. I'll swap back and forth, kind of figure out what they want. And then square bills, I have some chick magnets. I haven't really thrown them. I know they're a good bait, but I've got a bunch of other square bills. When it comes to square bill, I don't necessarily have a favorite one, but I still try to get that thin profile. It just seems the wobble on those, they even the molded baits of today, when you get that thin molded body, it acts a little bit more like balsa because of the body shape. So that's what I'll roll with this time of year as far as crankbaits go. And then I do like, if I'm fishing that 3 to 5 and I'm fishing rock, I'll throw a frit side 7 because I really like to get down into this stuff. I know a lot of guys will try to match perfect the 5, 7. They might make the 5, 7, and 9
for the frit side.
Yeah. So if I'm targeting 5 foot, I'll throw a 7. If I'm targeting 7 foot, I'd like to throw the 9 because with a crankbait, if you're not getting down into it, you're not getting bit. You have to be hitting that cover. You got to be deflecting off that stuff. And I do definitely lose more baits than I probably would normally.
We lost some.
We lost quite a few last weekend, but I feel like you just got to get down in that stuff and you got to be willing. And honestly, we probably wouldn't have lost so many baits if I was being lazy and we didn't pull out the lure retriever and we just kind of did what we did. But
you know what? Last weekend, one of the things that happened to Pete and I, we were pre-practicing and we started the day off and Pete caught a nice fish pertaining to that lake. And then he turned around and caught like a 9-pound striper. Well, I was going to get the phone out to take a picture and I had my crankbait thrown out there and I had it probably halfway back to the boat. And so when I just left my rod there and then boom, I got hit on like a 10-second pause. And that actually keyed us in on some things. So, sometimes they want it slow, man. Sometimes they don't want that crankbait burning, but you can't go wrong with a frit side.
Those pauses when you feel yourself deflecting off cover this time of year are key.
Yep.
90% of the time, that's when you're gonna get bit. The one Trey talked about, I was exactly that. I hit a branch. I'm fairly certain it was off a brush pile because I could see it on forward facing. I wasn't fishing with it, but I was using it to kind of scan around, and I felt it hit that brush pile that I'd thrown at. I paused it to let it get up above it, and when I paused it, that fish smoked it. And that's super important all the time, but really in the spring, I think it's even more important those pauses because the fish they're not quite to that warm water swim and smash stuff. Spinnerbait's a great bait this time of year, but they don't crush it like they do in the summer when you get on a spinnerbait bite. They just kind of gulp it. They just kind of eat it.
Yep.
Let's see what we got. Mercari sells tons of tackle baits and baits you haven't seen in a while. You'll be surprised.
We'll have to check them out.
Curry out. That was my boy Batson through. David Fuchs said fork last week. Yeah, dude, 10 century belts. That was an incredible tournament. We talked about it on our episode that's releasing Thursday. We give our full conversation about that, and they got me to talk about forward-facing sonar. So
you went on a rant.
I did go on a rant.
It's good. We all did, though.
Yeah, everybody kind of went on a rant. Zach said I've been liking the Rocco 5 a lot lately. No idea what that is, but awesome. The rock crawler. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
rock crawler is another one I throw a lot this time of year. If I don't throw a frit side, I throw the rock crawler. Those two are. The rock crawler has a little bit smaller body profile, so I like to chuck that one around. Tim Trenny said, "What percentage are you a deep crank fan compared to shallow crank fan? To make it simple, you throw crankbaits more in the deep water or shallow water?"
Both.
It's 50-50.
Yeah.
If I know it's a shallow bite and they'll eat a moving bait, I'm either going to throw a spinnerbait or a square bill. And when they're offshore deep in the summer, I'm throwing a crankbait and a shaky head and a Carolina rig, and that's about it.
Or a flutter spoon.
Or a flutter spoon if that bites on, yeah. But yeah, I deep or shallow, I'll throw a crankbait. I just love catching them like crankbait. I figured out my forward-facing active target. I hit my targets and got snagged a lot worse. Not like it's because, yep, I hear that. You see a lot more junk to throw through with it. That's for sure.
If you have invasive species like we do, such as the cormorants, it was pretty interesting watching them today. I was watching them dive under the water, eating like bait balls. And so do yourself a favor and go check out things that aren't fish with your forward facing sonar.
Yeah, it's cool to watch those birds go down there and do their thing. We watched them pushing last weekend on Lake X that we were on. We watched them pushing a big school of shad. There was like 6 or 7 loons pushing shad up into this pocket, and we were watching on forward facing. It was really cool. Threw my credits last Sunday. Love it. Yeah, it's a very specific bait as far as what you're going to use it for. But when you get in those situations where that bite is, or that's the right bait, you're going to smash them on it.
Yeah. I have yet to catch one on the credge, but
UMA crankbaits. I have to check out UMA crankbaits. Rocco's an Ott Rapala square bill. Okay. One of his Ott's garage baits. I'll definitely take a look at that. Shad Wrap and LC. I don't know what LC SKTMR is. Yeah. Shad Wrap. I don't really throw the Shad Wraps, Kevin, too much, but I know a lot of folks love them. Our water's a little warm for that right now. I think we're kind of past that, but I will throw them a little bit in the winter on the rip wrap and stuff.
Shad Wrap is in a shad pattern and not in a craw pattern is a great bait to throw in the summertime schools when they start busting bait up at the top. So if you can't get them on top water,
Lucky Craft, okay,
and it's slick, calm, and a jerk bait's just not doing it for you, throw a Shad Wrap in the middle of a school of feeding bass and you'll get bit.
Yeah. When the birds push shad, or the bass still around? No, we didn't see any game fish anywhere near any of those shad. And bass get to be big not by being dumb. So there's actually a video I saw today of a cormorant, a regular just cormorant, choked down probably a 4-pounder, a large mouth that had. Yeah, somebody posted a video. Wow. They're like, "There's no way this bird's gonna eat it," and he got it up and gone, slurped that 3 to 4 pound largemouth. So they'll target a bigger largemouth. You know, those nice breeding size. So when those birds. Now, like obviously the birds dive bombing out in the center of those big schools, that's a completely different thing. The bass will get in there and feed. But your birds like your cormorants, your loons, if you see them pushing bait, I wouldn't waste my time fishing that area because those fish are still around, but they're not going to be active. They're going to chill. Now, I have a feeling we didn't stick around. It was getting to the end of the day when we watched that. If you wait till those birds move on, those fish probably do come out and get active because now they push bait into their area. But when they're actively, those underwater birds like that are actively feeding. We watched it on forward facing. There was no bass. And we pulled up on schools of the gulls and the stuff that dive bonds those terns, and you'll see the bass on your forward facing feeding below the fish. They don't care. David Fuchs said, I didn't catch anything either, but the action was cool. Tree. Yeah, the credge is, like I said, super specific. It looks great.
Yeah, and it casts a mile.
Jeff said, I used a color called Ghost a lot. Don't remember who made it. It had a green tint to it. Yeah, I don't know who made that one. See, of course you don't remember who made it because you probably matched them on it and lost the only one you had.
Yeah.
Also for plastic, check out baitcave.com. Yeah, we're good with plastics. Appreciate that, though. We've got some companies to support the show that we use. So, but I'll check out their cranks, Dan, for sure. I'm always looking for new crankbaits. But yeah, so that's obviously one technique. We said we're going to talk a little bit about what we like to do. One thing we like to do is crank, shallow crank, kind of those mid depths, out to 9 foot or so. I don't really crank too much deeper than that. I sort of stick in that area as they start to stage with that. And then the other thing for me is they keep pushing shallow. Spinnerbait or chatterbait. They're kind of interchangeable in my opinion. This time of year, you're just creating a shad type deal on that, in my opinion. Texas rig always once they get shallower, and then a wacky worm, especially for
the spawn
post spawn. I don't really throw it during the spawn because if I can't see them, I don't try to catch them. I don't fish lakes like Harris where they spawn deep and you can't see them. I'm targeting very specific fish if I'm bed fishing and I know they're on bed, so I'm sight fishing 100%. But as soon as they're done, fry garters, there's not a better bait in the world for a fry garter than a wacky rig. I will say now the Yamatanuki is another bait that I've put to work with them, and they will absolutely crush that bait when they're on fry and on beds. It's a great bed fishing bait that they'll react to.
Yeah. Drop shots are pretty good in the spawn too. And then in the post spawn, like shallow drop shots. I know a lot of guys are getting in the habit. What is that one rig called? The Tokyo rig. That's another great rig to throw. But I'm like you, man. Well, I'm a little different. I like to throw a wacky worm all throughout the spawn, especially in our waters that there's not a lot of clarity. If I'm around a lot of heavy cover and stuff, no, I'm not going to throw it. But if they're spawning on the bank, like, and there's not a lot of heavy cover, I like the wacky worm, but it's all in what you're confident in too. So, you're a Texas rig guy. You like a wacky worm? I don't know. You know?
You got to throw what you're confident in.
Try an M80.
Yeah. I mean, I guarantee that will work.
Yeah, that'll do the trick.
That was Veda said Mega Live 70 feet is perfect. Yeah, Veda, that's where I'll use mine. I don't have my Mega Live anymore because I can't stick with things, so I'm on to Active Target 2 now.
He'll have live scope next year.
No, maybe. I'm interested to see what Lawrence's new release is because they put a teaser video out, so I'm pretty excited about what that could be.
Yep.
Air temps got all the way up to 50 daytime, 40 at night here in Foxborough, Mass. Yeah, you guys will be kicking off pretty soon then, Tim. Larry Reed said, "Hey fellas, this time of year, fish biting everywhere between bass, white bass, and crap. You got me running like a buck in the rut looking for a honey hole. Dude, I feel that. I seen you whacking them white bass out there.
If you're struggling to catch bass, just go catch crappie. It's so much fun.
Love that noise, and I want to try for the spawn this year.
Bass puzzle.
Oh, love that. Okay, I want to try.
Yamatanuki.
Nick said the Tokyo rig.
Yep.
Yeah, that was Fuchs. Nookie, I think he was talking about the Yamatanuki. Tokyo rig was our boy Nick Kincaid. That is a good one. I expect every bait coming to us some form of 360 or all one live transducer. So yeah, the patent on 360 side imaging technology that Humminbird has still has 2 more years on it, so nobody can come out with it for another 2 years. They would have to.
It doesn't mean they haven't developed.
They would have to reinvent the technology. I mean, it's not anything special. It's literally 2 side imaging transducers that spin. It wouldn't be a hard thing to develop.
Yeah.
They just can't put it out until that patent is up without paying Humminbird. Or Humminbird, sorry. So until that's done, you won't see anybody come out with that 360 live 360 all-in-one live transducer. Yeah, if you're talking about like perspective and forward in one transducer, I personally I don't see it coming because there's plenty of people that are willing to spend $5,000 for 2. So what's the point in what's the point? I'm sorry, Cody, to finish what I was saying. What's the point in making 1 transducer at all when I can sell you 2 for the price of 1, or 2 at the price of 2, or 3 or 4? I would be cutting into my own pockets, and at the end of the day, it's about money. So, VR headsets that track where you look. Jeff, we've been talking about this. If you go all the way back to like our 2nd or 3rd episode, I talk about it. I truly believe someday we're going to have, I don't think it'll be like we're seeing with the Apple Vision, but I think we're going to have in our glasses, we're going to have the ability to see our forward-facing sonar screen, and then potentially, much like some of our weapon system in the military, I can turn my head and my active target will go to where I look.
Sooner or later, we'll have a bait caster that just casts for us. You know what I mean?
It's the DC reel. Shimano.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They just throw the rod for you?
Electric brakes.
To
worry about backlash. Yeah. Saw a pro using HUD glasses scopes there. Yeah, that was what's his name? Ed Logren was testing them in practice. He's not using it at tournament yet, but he figured out a way to put his active target into a pair of HUD glasses and was using it in practice. He said he may try it in a tournament. I guess there's a lot of issues still with it, but it's where it's going. I mean, if I guess then people complaining that they're tired of seeing anglers stare at the horizon and fish instead at their screen.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's there's no telling. Its technology is it's going to continue to advance. There's no stopping it. Aaron Little said, "Yo, can't stay. We'll catch this one."
All right, we'll see you,
All right,
Aaron.
Aaron. Appreciate you
Take
stopping
care,
by for a
man.
minute, brother. There's no stopping it, right? Like, it doesn't matter if it's legal or not in a tournament. Look at Aquaview; they've been around forever.
Mhm.
Can't use it in a tournament, but you can use it in practice, and almost every single pro does. And I think it was Gussie today put out a post about his Aquaview and how he points to that being part of the reason why he won the classic, because he found a key that some of them smallmouth were laying right in the rocks, and you couldn't see them on forward facing, but he knew they were there because he saw them in practice with the Aquaview and he knew the size. You can't say what was Matty Wong wearing this past weekend. So if you're talking about the goggles he was just wearing those to run. I wear goggles like that too when I'm running.
Oh yeah,
On cold mornings,
like snowboarding goggles.
Yeah, because it'll destroy your eyes if you don't. And then he if you're talking about what was on his chest, he wears a GoPro chesty and films all his stuff. And Nick Kincaid, speaking of glasses, how about them Hobies? That's right,
Dude.
bro. How about them Hobie sunglasses? If you haven't checked them out yet, make sure you do. I'm going to post it one more time, the link down in the comments. That is our link. If you use that, it'll take you straight to HobieEyewear.com. You can check out all their different styles, lifestyle, fishing, polarized, non-polarized, prescription. That link will save you 15% off.
And
support the show, free shipping, lifetime warranty.
How many of you have lost a pair of sunglasses in the water? We need to, we'll do a video on
I'm going to
this.
film it Sunday.
Yeah.
I wanted to do it last week when we were fishing.
But I'm telling you right now, I've lost numerous pairs of sunglasses in the water, and the Mojo Float series, and I have all of them for different intended purposes, but I'm telling you, they're the most comfortable glasses that when you drop them in the water, they float. You ain't got to worry about that stuff. Now, if you run over it with your big engine, like, yeah, you're going to chop them up. But especially the Sight Masters for low light conditions, like how many times during a cloudy day are you just struggling to catch a fish on bed or whatever the case may be, or you just need to brighten up your horizon? Those Sight Master glasses are phenomenal. I wish you guys could see them through my eyes, but you can go get your hands on them by using that link, because I'm telling you right now, you're gonna want those glasses.
So Nick said, what do we recommend? Nick, I recommend the Mojo Float series as far as the frame. Look at what they have and do that based on your head size. Yeah, go grab yours. I don't have mine with me, but I do. They're in my truck. So after you get yours, you can talk and I'll go grab mine. I wear the blue fins because it's extra large frames. I have a giant head. I'm sure you've all seen that from all of our social media content, and they fit really great. The other thing about the Mojo Floats is different from any of the other floating frame glasses out there is they don't look like a floating frame glass. A lot of the other ones have big bulky frames because of how they build their flotation and stuff into them. These frames are almost identical to their non-floating ones, except they float. So if they fly off your head, if you drop them when you're going to grab a fish, we all have a tendency to put them on our head, like on our hats when we're doing stuff. Excuse me, if they come off, they float right there. You don't need my Wileys are at the bottom of tiller. Yeah, Jerry, get you some Hobie floats, save 15%, and you won't lose those glasses on tillery again. But yeah, so the Mojo floats, they have a regular series, they have a Hank Cherry series. The only difference is the Hank Cherry, they offer the Sight Master lens in, which is like a yellow tinted copper lens. I'm telling you, for low light condition, yeah, that one right there. And if you look at our post on our Instagram that I did, or in our Facebook group, that was me wearing those when we were fishing this past weekend. And they really just draw in as much light as possible. So low light conditions, they cut down the glare, but they pull in a ton of light. And we actually commented when we were fishing on Sunday, like, you don't realize how dark it is when you have them on and then you take it off and we're like, oh man, we better get rolling because it's getting to be the end of the day. So the Hank Cherries are the ones he's showing here, black frame. They got a little red accent to them. Those are and I'm not going to say the lens color because we were given explicit instructions to make sure we don't say the wrong color, because they have very specific, but they have a blue mirrored and a green mirrored. Both are good for clear water. The difference is minute. The green The green one does a little bit better in more tannic water. The blue is really good, like offshore, really clear water. They do them in prescription lenses. Yes, sir, Jeff, they do. I'll have to reach out to Dylan and confirm whether our link will work for prescription, but I think they do work on the prescription as well for the frames. And then, obviously your insurance stuff will go through the actual lenses themselves. Yellow cuts through tannic water like nothing else. Yep, they do a great job. And those green have that copper, I think they call it copper yellow backing. So the green is really good if you fish a lot of tannic water.
Yeah.
The green mirrored one.
They're just super comfortable, man. Like they fit right to your face. What I really like, I'm not a huge fan of like a bulky nose piece. Probably because I got a peanut head and a tiny nose. But they just wrap right around your head. And you know how some sunglasses, like when you turn your head and you're running down the lake, some people like to have like the little lanyards and stuff. I used to wear those, but they got really annoying because they would like hook on the back of my hoodie when I was wearing my glasses or whatever the case may be. So these are really nice because I'll turn around and look at the engine just to make sure I, don't hit nothing or whatever. And they don't fly off your face. And if they do, the Mojo floats, they float.
You got to get yourself some, Rick. I'm going to post the link back in my chat.
And you're cool.
That's the link going into my chat.
I'll be back.
Yeah, they look good. They're comfortable. I've worn Waterlands the last few years. I've worn Costas most of my fishing career, if you want to call it that. And they're great glasses. Don't get me wrong. The Hobies are right on par with those and significantly cheaper. You're talking
a lot cheaper, hundreds of dollars.
You're talking $100 for the regular Mojo floats. I think the Hank Cherries are like $109. And like I said, the lenses are the same. They do offer a couple different lens colors in the Hank Cherries, but 15% off if you use our link.
Yep.
And free shipping, lifetime warranty, and their warranty is amazing. You get a real person. There's not a code, it's a link.
Use that link. Drop it one more time. I'm
going to post it again. I'm going to post it in all of the chats, and then I'm going to post it right here, Jeff, and then I can send it to you in a message if you want. Everything's going to links now versus codes. It's just, I guess it works better for them for tracking and all that. So if you use that
Roger,
Roger, if you use that link, yeah, you can click it. I just confirmed. I clicked it on my phone. So check them out. The prescription stuff, you can do any of the frames and prescription, and they'll get you worked out.
So I got my daughter some for softball, and she really loves them. Like they make really cool stylish glasses too that aren't just for fishing and stuff like that. And honestly, the Sight Masters, if you're a marksman and you love to shoot, the Sight Masters are a great, at least I like them for shooting, because it brightens up your target and everything like that. So if you're into competitive shooting or recreational shooting, they're also a great piece of eyewear to have.
You'll be fine, Cody. Trey's got a little army head too. They fit him all right. So check them out, Cody. I think you'll be surprised. I think they'll fit you well. And like I said,
and they all come with these cases. Yep. That's really nice.
They come with a hard case.
They come in.
They don't all come with a sleeve. So
okay, well,
don't. I think just the Hank Cherries come with a sleeve. But
there you
go. If you get the non-Hank Cherry ones, I don't think they come with sleeves.
Yeah, this is just Hank Cherry.
Right? They come with that nice hard case. They come with a lens cleaning cloth in it, so you kind of got everything right there that you could need to go out there and do your thing. And looking forward to bed fishing with them. But so far,
yep,
we've been using them since. When did we meet them guys last year? We met them at the Cash and Deal. So
yeah,
I mean it was late spring, early summer.
Was at the kayak masterclass, I think, right?
Yeah, I think so. Well, it was when we met them folks. We got a pair. We bought a pair there, and we've been using them since then. And great glasses. So
yep.
Highly recommend. I've got close to a year rocking them. I know some folks that have been using them for a lot longer than that.
I mean, Carl Jochimson, he wears them all the time. A lot of professional kayak anglers.
Yep. Corey Dreyer, who we've had on the show. Christine Fisher, if you know who Christine is with them. There's a lot of big names in kayak fishing that rock them, which makes sense. Hobie, has their kayak business. They also have the Hobie eyewear. So can you speak to scratch resistance for us guys that treat our gear like we hate it? They're as scratch resistant as any other not glass lens that you're going to buy. They do have, scratch resistant treating, but if you go back and listen to our episode with the guys from Hobie, there's no way to guarantee they're not going to get scratched, especially with plastic lenses. You sacrifice some of the scratch resistance from glass. That's why you throw them in the case at the end of the day. And it seems like it would be a tough thing, but you get onto it. But scratch just from your everyday wear, if you drop them while you're tying on or doing something, if you're walking to I know you do a lot of bang fishing, Zach, so beat feet around the lake and stuff. I wouldn't be worried about them all going through the bush and that type of stuff. If you're taking them off and chuck them in your center console with $300 worth of pennies that you've been dumping in there for the last 10 years and they ride around in there and all that, probably going to get scratched. But
I recommend keeping them in the case, I know unless you're going to wear them all day, but I made a short little video. I just write on there with a Sharpie what the intended purpose is for. So either dirty water, clean water, low light conditions, whatever, or, uniform. Cause there's only, I can only wear these. There's only ones authorized for work for me. So that's why I got these ones. Cause I like to wear sunglasses at work.
I'm going to throw one more time. I'm going to throw it in the links in there. They're also on our social medias, all of that stuff. I don't want to spam it too much. We got another question.
What are you guys throwing for jerk baits?
Yeah, what are you throwing for jerk baits and color selection? I'm not too particular on brands because they're all Mega Bass 110 now. They all look identical. There's different sizes, different depths, obviously, things like that. Depends on what the fish are doing. Depth wise, if I need something deeper diving or not. And I'm almost always throwing a very natural colored jerk bait. There are occasions where I'll throw the clown and it'll smash them, which is natural other than the big bright red head that it has. But typically I'm going to throw super clear water. I'm going to get something nearly translucent. Just going to have a little bit of a touch of a color in it. Bone always works, or white, whichever way you want to look at it. And that's really it. I don't, if it's dirty water, I'm not throwing it because it's not effective. So just depends on that. I won't be at some. We have our team trail that day. So
we really do need to get somebody on here that is a huge jerkbait fan, because like Pete and I probably have 100 jerkbaits a piece. They're a great bait. You got to know how to fish them. It has to be the right conditions to fish them. But I'm not I fish it. I always have one. I have one tied on the front deck right now, but it's one of those baits, like at least down here for me, it's just not a confidence bait.
Yeah. I mean, I've thrown them a ton in my life and I've caught hundreds of fish on them up north, smallmouth fishing. Yeah. I don't know if I've thrown a jerkbait twice since I've been in North Carolina. It's just not something that I'm confident throwing at these fish down here yet. I need to get comfortable doing it.
So Cody,
appreciate that, brother. Appreciate you buying a pair, man. That's awesome. That's Rick. Also Bassin' Through, y'all. If you're not following Bassin' Through on socials, he puts out a lot of great content, really supports small business and pushes their products.
Actually, Bassin' Through got a really nice shout out from Hal Abshire. Took a trip over to, he calls it Hal Mart, which is, we'll have to record what's in his.
We're going to do, if you've all ever watched Major League Fishing, when they did the Bass Cave episodes, we're going to do that with some local guys, and we'll probably show our stuff off at some point, but we're going to do one with Hal. We've already talked to him. He just wanted to clean it up a little bit. He's been down because he had some surgery.
Yeah.
So once he gets that done,
he
said shout out Bassin' Through.
Yeah. He gave a shout out to Bassin' Through. He showed up at the PBC's first tournament of the year on Jordan Lake and was doing a bunch of videography and stuff like that. So huge shout out to you, bro.
Mike, what's going on, brother? Mike Johns in the house. Kevin Brooks said, if you've ever had a piece of tungsten come back at you at 200 miles an hour, you'll appreciate plastic over glass. Agreed. Nick Kincaid, will we see another Elite Series tournament this year where all top 10 get over 100 pounds? Not this year. Nope.
No,
absolutely not. I don't think they have any other lakes they're going to set up that way. Florida is going to be a post-spawn.
What's their northern lakes?
they're going to the St. Lawrence, but
not the time of year for it.
it
right?
is. It's always the time of year for that. But they're not to get all 10 anglers over 100 pounds. I think that's a lot tougher in the.
We thought that there were going to be 10 century belts at Toledo Bend, and the weather threw that for an entire loop. So
jerkbait used to be my only hard bait I threw. Lost my confidence in them down here in North Carolina. Yep, absolutely.
they're really good when
Cody
the fish
said, I've
are
been using
schooling.
a ton more with forward facing sonar. Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah, start playing with lead dots and stuff like that on them, man. Like get that jerkbait down in 10, 15 foot of water by weighting it down. That credge we talked about earlier or briefly, that credge has an intended purpose. And I can see where that credge is effective, but there are times where you want a regular jerkbait. So play around with putting some lead wire around the hooks or lead dots on it.
Brandon Gass said was catching up on podcasts on driving home today. Any new finds on the spotted bass in Jordan or Harris?
No,
that Trey knew the guy in the picture in question. He asked him and he said, I didn't even look at the fish. So he wasn't any help there. I'm going to read the message to everybody here. Seth is going to be on the show, who is the biologist who sent this to me. So for all of our North Carolina guys, this is pertinent to you. For your non-North Carolina guys, you can shut down for a second and not listen if you want to, but it's good because if they make it to your fishery, here's the answer. So I sent Seth the pictures. Obviously, it was too hard to tell from the photos we had. But he said, thanks for keeping an eye out. He said, make sure you let all anglers out there know that if they even just think they caught a spot in Jordan, to text me a picture of the fish and his tongue at 336-534-0019, and I'll post that number here in a little bit. And of course, do not release it no matter how big or small it is, even if it ends up being a largemouth less than 14 inches. So for those that don't know, on Harris and Jordan, you can keep two under 14. So if it ends up being under 14, you already have your two, it'll get worked out. I've already talked to all the Chatham and Durham County game wardens. They're aware of the concerns and know how much we don't want them to show up in Jordan and Falls. So if you are a local guy and you think you catch a spot in Harris and or Jordan, regardless of size, this goes for Falls too, obviously, or Falls, keep that fish. Do not release it. Take pictures of the tongue and the fish. Send them to Seth Myko. I'll put his phone number out, and that way they can confirm whether they're or not. I can tell you right now, if you catch one in Harris, Jordan, or Falls, enjoy the next 3 years because it's all going to change dramatically if some bucket biologist decided to put spots in there.
And it's not necessarily even, yes, putting spots in the lake, but remember a lot of these river systems, they feed multiple lakes throughout the state. And that's been the problem with the lakes out west is as soon as you put them in the lake, then they start flowing down river and they make it to the other lakes. So
we hope so too, Kevin.
Yep.
Yeah, I hope nobody did. Kevin said only a handful of lakes in the country that have potential for that. Yeah, the 1,000 pounds sucks because Fort could have very well turned out 2,000. Yep, they'd had 20 century belts if they didn't cut it. I fully believe.
Oh,
that.
Absolutely.
There's always potential when they go to the northern fisheries, Nick. But I just think to get 10 century belts would be super tough to do on smallmouth. Like I said, those big fish are not as thick as what we were seeing down there at Fork. It's a lot bigger body of water. There's a lot of different places to go. So,
but you never know. You never know. They could whack them.
I hope it doesn't happen. However, I think the girlfriend would enjoy the higher amount of small aggressive bass.
Go
to
Gaston.
Go to
Norman,
and there's plenty of them there.
Go to Baloo's Creek. I don't know where Cody's at, but go up to Baloo's Lake.
He's local, yeah.
Yeah, go up to Baloo's and you can catch spots all day there.
Yeah, there's potential, Kyle. Luckily, I don't think the stuff going on at Bugs Island is as much to do with the spots as it has to do with the decreasing water quality in that lake because of the progress, we'll call it, the development in the area. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully that doesn't end up like Bugs, but you're absolutely right. Seems to me like strolling is a new hot thing in tournaments. Any predictions as what's next? Dude, so here's the thing with strolling, and I'm not going to go into the debate with the forward facing that. I personally have been doing exactly what they're doing since I was 7 years old, catching smallmouth and open water, strolling, mid strolling, and bottom strolling. You know, all you're doing is swimming a minnow bait and working it, either bouncing it off the bottom. I still do it and go to Erie, and I've had 100 fish days. It's just now it's becoming super. It's becoming super popular because of
It's a saltwater technique.
yeah. It's becoming super popular.
Look
Because
at Brian
of
Thrift with the Demiki rig, man. He was doing that back in the FLW days. Yeah, it's
just become popular because of the eyes on it now.
Yeah, I mean, and guys are targeting fish. You know, like Fork and Toledo, or like Toledo Bend, for instance, like they fish that way because they had to fish that way to stay competitive. If they could have been on the bank sight fishing, you know, 8, 9, 10 pounders, like people would have been doing that. Clearly, that wasn't the pattern. You saw Greg Hackney struggle through both of those events, really.
Yeah.
That just wasn't it. And now that we're, you know, you winter fishing, man, like it's tough. You got to get out deep.
And X Elite actually brought them here from the Coosa in the early 2000s, put them in my home lake in Gaston, and they've taken over my lake. Yeah, they've taken over Gaston too. Bugs Island is because of the herring and water levels. That does have a lot to do with it. Water levels and herring. We're gonna get Corey back in, and I want to talk about Bugs Island, whatever you call it specifically, because it's different what's impacting that lake that's impacting some of our other lakes. So it'd be interesting.
We should try to get Corey and Marty Stone on at the same time.
Yeah, we're gonna have an episode with Marty because Marty's also super knowledgeable about everything that's going on in our fisheries. He's been here for a long time, so we're gonna get him on very soon. Did those 10 century belts diminish the specialness of that accomplishment? Absolutely not.
No,
it's still.
I mean, everyone has their opinion.
Yeah. Go out and look at dudes that barely caught a fish, and 10 of them figured out how to catch, you know, and Cooper Gallant did it with 19 fish. He didn't even have a full limit, and he got a century belt. So that's super special. It doesn't take away from it at all. The only people I feel like that are making a big deal and saying that it's taking that away are, I think, just the haters, the people that just are very against the technology that's coming. So,
I mean, I would just look at it this way. It's not unaffordable if you go and buy like 50 packages of, you know, soft plastics every couple weeks. Don't go buy those and just save up a little bit. But like everybody has struggled through the winter, especially in the South. Like it sucks going out to the lake and zeroing. Now there's a capability to help you not zero, you know, so I don't know. Use it or don't use it. You're still going to zero
most times.
Oh, yeah. I've zeroed numerous times in the winter.
Cody, it's one of my favorite techniques. Same as jerk baits. Yep, it is. It's a ton of fun. Tim, would spot survive up north too? Nobody knows. So everything that they've thought about the Alabama bass, they thought would stop it. Cold weather, running water, everything that they believed was going to stop it has not. And there is fear that if it gets to the north and it gets into the Great Lakes, essentially it could extinct the smallmouth bass from the Great Lakes in next to no time, because
they can crossbreed,
spawn with smallmouth, and they'll just outspawn them. They won't even worry about out competing them. They'll breed with them, and it'll go 10%, 20%, 30%, 40%, 50%, to eventually there's zero smallmouth DNA left, and everything is a spotted bass. So you get a few years that are really, really good. They've essentially eliminated smallmouth from the lakes of North Carolina. People think they're catching smallmouth. They're not. You're catching meanmouth, and you have probably 2 more years of doing that. And then those meanmouth, all of that smallmouth DNA is gone, and you're left with 14-inch spots. And that's where we're heading on our lakes in the east. The western part of North Carolina. There are no smallmouth left in any of the lakes in North Carolina. The only hope that the NCWRC and biologists have is that the spots can't survive in the rivers where the smallmouth live because of how fast the current is. But they don't know. So they absolutely don't know. They just keep.
They're just so aggressive.
They just keep. And they keep defying everything they think that's going to stop them, whether it be cold. They don't know if a lake freezes, if it'll kill them or if they'll live. They have no idea until they make their way to those bodies of water, and it happens. And unfortunately, fishermen are the ones that are doing it. The areas that they've showed up in, there's no natural way for them to have gotten there to start. They couldn't have come from upriver because there was no spots in the lakes or upriver of where these fish are showing up. They know 100% it's anglers. Then the way they're spreading is not possible for it to be natural. It's anglers taking them to lakes to try to make the fishery better. And you just end up, I mean, even the guys, yeah, Norman's great. You can go out there and catch a bunch of fish, but there's a lot of people complaining about the fish you're catching because you're going out there and catching, you might go out there and catch 200 fish, but they're 216-inch spots.
Yeah. And there's Alabama spotted bass, and then there's the northern strain. Our guys are really worried about the Alabama spotted bass.
Yeah, so that's been pretty much proven as a myth, Jeff. They can transfer eggs over a very short distance, but where Alabama bass occurred and how they ended up in North Carolina lakes and the way they've spread through the North Carolina lakes, it's not possible. So it was 100% anglers that did it here in North Carolina. Kentucky bass are no threat. It's the Alabama bass. The Kentucky's,
yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to speak on that. They could be. I don't know.
Speaking about, like,
we're gonna have Seth in a couple weeks. I think 2 weeks we have him scheduled to come in, and we'll ask some more spotted bass questions because it's definitely a hot item. So Seth Mike will be here, and he is the lead biologist responsible for Jordan, Harris, Falls, and the lakes here in that. I don't remember all the lakes, but in that Piedmont region. I don't know how far west and east he goes, but those three for sure, which are a big concern, obviously. So we'll get plenty more information when he comes in. We're just trying to repeat, what we got from Corey in the short time we had with him here. And we're going to get him back on too, because he has more knowledge of North Carolina overall. And that spreads to our states, that are local. Are the spots in the rivers like Chowan or Roanoke? There is a species of spotted bass that lives in those rivers that are natural, Jeff. There's no way to tell the difference between them and the Kentucky bass, the Alabama bass. I was reading another comment. There's no way to tell the difference between our natural spotted bass and the Alabama bass. They just call them all spotted bass, and you can keep and kill them all because there's no way to look at them and tell the difference. And from talking to Corey when he was on, we talked about it on and off camera. Essentially, if we eliminate the natural species, the naturally occurring spotted bass that was in those rivers, it's not going to have any effect on the ecosystem. But the Alabama bass will destroy the ecosystem. So you almost have to sacrifice a native species because some folks brought in a non-native. NPFL should come to NC for a championship.
I agree.
110%, Nick.
Agree.
We put it in the owner's ear every time we talk to him. So
now, are they going to stick with 25 anglers now that they have 135 angler field? We don't know. They may have.
Yeah, I thought Brad addressed that.
Did he?
I thought he said they were staying with 25.
Well, if they stay with 25, then they can pretty much go anywhere in the country, which would be pretty cool. But yes, we want to bring them to our backyard for sure.
We'll get an answer on that too. We got to get them guys back on, talk about after the championship, just to talk about finally having that and everything. And we'll ask that question. But yeah, I mean, even if they go to 50 boats, there's not many places they couldn't go. I mean, they wouldn't go to Sharon Harris, but they will not breed with largemouth. They outcompete largemouth. So
yep.
They feed and act a lot like a smallmouth. So they will push the largemouth off of those summertime haunts where they can really feed up and stay healthy through the summer, and it forces them into the back of creeks and stuff. And then essentially they just don't have the food to survive. So the population falls.
They die off.
You'll still have largemouth and the Alabama bass on the same lakes, but the largemouth population will decrease significantly. So that's where we're running into now.
And lake fertility has a lot to do with it, right? Like, an infertile lake such as what is it, Gaston versus Jordan, it's very different, but a spotted bass can take a fertile lake and make it very infertile for a largemouth over time.
Yeah, Rick, appreciate that. Yeah, it was super fun having Luis Fernandez on.
He's awesome.
He's
man.
A great guy. If you haven't listened to that episode that dropped yesterday, make sure you do. Luis is a cool dude. We had a ton of fun, and he will he will definitely be back on the show.
Always cool to see a West Coast angler make it over here on the East Side. Such a huge logistical struggle. So give that episode a shout.
Definitely do. So yeah, Tim, to answer your question, they won't crossbreed out a largemouth. They'll just outcompete them. And that's why this F1 program is hopeful to reestablish those largemouth populations. And if it works out, then great. Yeah, if they get into Jordan, they're going to blow up because Jordan's the most fertile lake. Jordan and Falls.
I don't even want to talk about it.
Lakes, and with the shad populations in those lakes and everything, some of these other lakes, when they get in there, you still have a few years. I don't know how long it would take, and with as fertile as those lakes are, it wouldn't take long. So, if you even think you catch one, kill that dang fish.
I had no idea blue cats were invasive.
Yeah, blue cats are
blue
invasive.
catfish are
flatheads were invasive too.
Yeah.
They'll crush the shad population. So we're getting close to an hour, ladies and gentlemen.
It's been awesome engagement.
This has been
tonight.
A great show.
I've barely talked.
We're not done yet. So if you have more questions, please throw them in there, and we'll answer that.
So here's this comment. Why don't they shock and kill them?
Yeah, real quick, let me refer to this. Just to they are very good eating from what I've heard. I'm going to eat some this year. I haven't tried them yet.
What's that?
The spotted bass. Supposedly delicious. They're supposed to taste a lot like some of our northern species. So I'll try some and report back. Blue cats are good eating as well.
So is there a creel limit on blue cats? If there's a creel limit and they're invasive, that doesn't make
Eric,
sense.
are you on? If you are, let us know if there's a creel limit on them.
So
we had the question, and I'm going to let Trey answer. Why don't they shock and kill them to at least slow them down?
So money, right? Money is a huge thing. You have to understand that and go back and listen to Corey Oakley. I don't even know if he talks about the financial side of it, but the bottom line is if there's no money in the state to support the program, then it's not going to happen. I mean, anglers had to raise money just to do the F1 bass introduction. And thankfully NCWRC was aligned with that initiative.
Yeah, they did it to bolster it, to be
clear.
The state was going to do it, but to get numbers to help, we had to.
But I mean, look at the Asian carp deal, right? Like, yeah, they did, but that was destroying like the Kentucky Lake and stuff like that. But it boils down to money, and I don't know if anglers have raised a big enough stink about it to bring it in front of legislation to have something done about it. So, but I think it really just boils down to money.
Yep, money, and the other Corey answered is electricity is indiscriminate, so
it'll kill everything else.
They're gonna have to kill everything in the lake, and then you'll have no fish. So it's not the best, and there's also now ethical debates. Are you playing God if you start doing things? Because they are doing tests with sterile males that will still spawn but won't produce semen. So I'm trying not to be a 13.
I know. You
had to giggle.
Hey, I'm
so they're trying that stuff, and eventually they'll just die out because they're not reproducing. But there's a lot of ethical debate in the conservation community about, hey, do we want to eliminate a species that we made the mistake of introducing, and our folks did that. So they're looking at what they can do. Money is a big thing. So when you see that pop back up that you can donate to, and we're going to have Marty Stone on to talk about it, to help with the F1s in North Carolina, definitely do look at your state programs and see if there's any way you can help. We got a bunch of questions, so I'm going to keep rolling through these. Tim said, where the spots originate from? Alabama, Coosa River system. That was Rick said, can something be done to better manage the lakes so that we don't have a low level in the summer like last year? There's nothing we can do. That's drought. These are flood control lakes, so they have to dump water, and they have to keep it below a certain level for if we get a storm event. So as the drought comes, there's no way to hold back more water to keep the water level where it is. It impacts us fishing. Yes. For like the Army Corps engineers, fish populations and the fishery is not their primary concern. They are more concerned with flood control, making sure we don't destroy people's homes in the event of some type of emergency. Blue cats are causing, in part, the crab and saltwater fish populations crashing up here in the bay. You can't catch as many cats now in the bay as do the saltwater species at times. That's not good. I need to figure out the Roanoke River stuff in case I'm able to make it out there in the summer. You'll figure it out, Cody. That's a fun one. If the lake goes to crap, then the money will not come into NC. So spend it now or later. Exactly. Who said that? I'm scrolling down. I was reading on that was Jeff. You're absolutely right, Jeff. If the lake goes to crap, we're not going to get money. So if you have the money, donate it now. Help them do that thing. The money's there in all states. States get federal grants to repair highways every year, but look at the condition of them. I'm just saying. Yeah. So unfortunately, when it comes to like NCWRC and your state wildlife agencies, there's not a ton of federal money available. It all has to come out of the state budget, and those state taxes don't ever get designated to the wildlife like it should. It's not. People are more important than wildlife to our legislators. So it's important how you vote, and we're not going to get political, but look at folks' opinions on things that impact what we love to do in our natural world.
Yeah, I mean they're doing an initiative out west for trout.
Yep.
There's a lot more species than just bass. Obviously, we love our bass fishing, but we're not the only voice in the room, and there is only so much money that can get spread around.
And the only way we can
No, they don't allocate it reasonably.
You're right. They definitely don't, Kyle. You nailed it.
They don't allocate it in our favor.
They don't. Fishing a tournament, you get one rod, one reel, and what lure, color, and size, and why. Tim, you always have these burners.
I like it.
All right, Trey, I'll let you go first. One rod, one reel, one bait.
All right, Tim, I got to fire back at you. Where are we at? What lake are we on? Because that's
doesn't matter.
One rod,
one reel, one lure. What's it? Color and size. Why?
So then I gotta go with a cash-in 7'3" worm jig rod with one of my Revos, 15-pound tests, and probably just gonna go with a Texas rigger shaky head.
You got to pick one.
Okay, then I'm gonna go with a shaky head.
If it's me, I'm gonna go with a 7'3" medium heavy fast cash-in Icon worm jig rod, 7 gear ratio reel, 14 or 16-pound fluorocarbon, and a 3/8 ounce green pumpkin jig.
There you go. Oh, my
home lake.
Oh my God! Don't ask me. I can't catch a damn bass.
Trey can't catch a bass. I know what you're gonna take. Harris, you're gonna take a shaky head.
Oh, a shaky head all day.
I'll call Jordan my home lake, and I'm still gonna stick with that jig.
A jig.
But honestly, if I'm tournament fishing and I have one rod, one reel, it's probably going to be a spinning rod and a wacky worm because that's one more money than anything.
Yeah, that's a fact.
All right, let me look at the last few we got here as we wind down. Like CNC, take a page out of the Texas Wildlife book.
100%.
I agree with the way they allocate money. There's a lot of debate in the conservation world about the actual benefits of the share lunker program and whether it works. It looks great on paper, but the state of Texas gives a ton of money to their parks department, the folks, the wildlife and parks, whatever they are down there. So they're able to do a lot more with the money they get. Everybody sees the share lunker and says that's what it is, but there's a lot of debate on whether that is or not. I'm not an expert, so I'm not going to say whether it is or isn't. But they do have a lot of great programs for their fisheries, and it's a priority.
I mean, the slot limit was working great on Harris until the grass got killed, and then it stopped working.
Nick, I agree. I'd like to see him take that page out of the book, though, with some of the programs they run. Fishermen will spend a lot of money to go fish and catch
5 bass to throw back.
Bass for 35 pounds, and I'm not gonna lie, the second day one weighing was done, I googled the ramp on Fork to see how far it was from my house, and it's 15 hours and 13 minutes, so I'll be making a trip down there. Constantly talking the F1s. Yep, I'm ready for the grass to come back on Harris. We're 7 or 8 years from it.
You'll see grass, you won't see hydrilla.
You're never going to see hydrilla again,
but you'll see some form of grass.
You're going to see grass. You're going to see native grasses. It's going to look a lot like it did. It's just not going to be hydrilla like
there won't be mats and stuff like you used to have.
And the last thing, let's go and take me with you. Come on. Last thing I'm going to say, since Harris came up with the grass, is everybody, we got to stop beating up the NCWRC about killing the grass in Harris, because they did not kill the grass in Harris. They finished the grass off in Harris, admittedly. The grass was already dead and dying, and it was all because of changing water conditions. start putting hydrogen in live well, it'll come back. It was all because of the changing water conditions due to runoff from developments in the area. The amount of silt that was being dumped in the water because of all the development in the area around Sharon Harris changed the water quality to a point where the hydrilla couldn't filter it effectively, and it was dying because it was starving to death. It wasn't getting the sunlight. It wasn't able to photosynthesize the way it needs to live. That's a 25-cent word, bro.
I'll give you $1.
Photosynthesize the way it needed to live. So as it was dying, the state saw that as an opportunity to step in, finish it off, and then get those native grasses going, grasses that'll better filter that runoff. So again, the best way for us to stop that from happening to other places is to talk with our mouths, our money, and our votes, and look at folks that want to slow some of that development down, that don't want to turn every piece of natural into a housing plan.
We said it at the beginning. If you're looking to buy land because you don't want people building houses there, then hit up Eric Schwinn at Mossy Properties.
That's right. All right, everybody. It's an hour and 5 minutes. It's been a great show. We've talked about Hobie. Make sure you go check them out. HobieEyewear.com. Don't just go there, though. Use the link that I posted in the chat. I posted it a couple times. I'm going to post it one more time.
If you don't use that link, you won't save money.
Yeah, you won't save money.
You won't save money.
Pay full price, which if that's what you want to do, I'm not going to fault you. If you want to spend more money than you need to, that's a life choice. But we're providing you with the opportunity to save some money. So use that code if you're looking to buy some awesome glasses. Make sure you check out Carolina Waters at carolinawatersnc.com. Use the code the OneCast, all one word there, to save 20% off your order. Get some sweet gear. The also, make sure you head over to save $15. There you go. Passing through. Rick has already bought a pair. Save $15 off that. Free shipping, lifetime warranty. And their warranty department is awesome. We haven't had to use it for issues, but we've had to use it for stupidity. And it's been instant response. And it's not because we're affiliated with them or anything. We have to go through the same process that you all do. But you actually get to talk to a person and they want to make things right. So hit them up. It's also super fast shipping. My dad's getting ready to go to Belize for a fly fishing trip.
Bonefish,
tarpon, and permit. He's leaving on Monday. He wanted a pair of Sight Masters in case they ran into cloudy. And
keep going.
And he wanted a pair of Sight Masters. So I ordered them on like a Wednesday. They were there on Saturday.
Yep.
So it's fast shipping, ready to go. Make sure you check out Eric Schwinn. We said, look, if you're looking for property, hit up our boy Eric Schwinn, Mossy Properties. He'll get you that piece of heaven that you're looking for here in North Carolina, especially in the Piedmont area. He has
even if you're not in North Carolina, Mossy Oak has a ton of brokers all throughout the country. Yeah. So, but you can still hit Eric up. He'll put you in contact with who you need.
Yeah, Star, that there's a lot of rumors about how the grass died. I know that the state of North Carolina did not start it. They finished it, but they didn't start it. So whatever happened there, that's what happened. We can speculate all we want. It's gone now. We got to support them in their efforts to get natural grasses back in there, and do what we can to, help that. So appreciate everybody. Y'all have a great night. Thank you so much, as always, for being here, for interacting with us, for hanging out. Remember, we talked so much we forgot about the giveaway, bro.
The giveaway.
Head over to Spotify, head over to Apple Podcasts, head to YouTube, wherever it is that you like to watch our podcast and listen. Leave a review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. If you're on YouTube, subscribe to the page. Send us a screenshot on any of our socials of that. That'll get you entered in the giveaway. We got a ton of great prizes. We got a giveaway every month for the next 5 months. And the first one is going to be the last Friday of March. So we're getting close. It's going to be for a Cash and Icon chatterbait rod and a prize pack of bladed snagless jigs from OneCast Fishing. We've got Hobie Eyewear. We've got Lowrance Fish Finder. We've got Swamp Fox Custom Lures. We've got a whole box of jigs. I
got to hold the box.
Carolina Waters gear. You name it. We got it in this giveaway from our awesome partners. We don't have any land from Eric Schwinn. Still working on that. I'm trying to get land for me first, and then maybe we'll try to get some to give away. But yeah, make sure you head over there, leave us a like, leave us a review, send us a screenshot. Make sure you get in that giveaway and help us continue to grow a culture of anglers helping anglers one cast at a time.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Oh God, it's a toad, son. It's a toad, dude.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day.